I love it. I love it. I love it. Look at this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
Hey, what's poppin', my homies? What's good? This UFC card's gonna be UFC China. It's gonna be Mingyang Zhang versus Johnny Walker. And before we break down some matchups, we look at my bets on the last UFC event, and unfortunately, the 10-bet win streak on the Patreon, it came to an end. It came to an end, man. We lost 2 tickets and cashed one of them. And listen, man, I never want to see Kai Asakura ever fight again. I refuse to break down any Kai Asakura matchups. Losing to 38-year-old Tim Elliott, who hadn't fought in over 600 days. Truly unforgivable, truly shocking, truly diabolical. But moving on from the pay-per-view, we've already got 1 ticket on this UFC China card, and I've paired up Delano from the Contender with someone else on this card. Alright, my homies, Khamzat smash the like button. Let's go. First matchup on the card, we've got Diyar Nurgozhay taking on Uran Satybaldiev. And I've got no clue who's going to win this fight. Nurgozhay got submitted by Brenton Ribeiro, which isn't a good look. Satybaldiev lost to Martin Buday upper heavyweight on short notice, which isn't as bad as Nurgozhay losing to Ribeiro via submission. And Satybaldiev did do okay in that fight. He just got stuck against the fence way too much. I guess if you're going to put money on this fight, you might as well go with the underdog, Diyar Nurgozhay. It does feel like a coin flip. It does feel pretty close to 50-50. So if I was going to bet on this fight, I would lean more towards the underdog. That does make more sense in my opinion, but I've got no clue who's going to win this fight. I really don't know who's going to win. But yeah, I'm going to go with Diyar Nurgozhay. That's the pick. Next matchup, we've got Xiao taking on Su Yu, which is very solid matchmaking here. We've got a classic striker versus grappler. Now, Xiao is the striker. Su Yu is the grappler. So if Xiao going to win this fight, he needs to keep the fight standing, keep the fight on the feet. If he does get taken to the ground, hustling back to the feet over and over is going to be part of the process of Xiao winning this matchup. And if Su Yu is going to win this fight, securing those takedowns is the path to victory. And if Xiao gets back to the feet, Su Yu has to rely on the chain wrestling and keep pushing for more takedowns. So there's 2 very different styles in this fight, which makes it a fun matchup. And I wouldn't be surprised if the slight underdog pulled it off. I also wouldn't be surprised if the slight favourite got it done. It's going to come down to who can impose their style and make the opponent fight their fight. Gun to the head though. I'm picking Su Yu to win this fight only because I want to see Su Yu versus Chang Ho Lee as a future matchup. They've got very similar styles. They're both grapplers. They're both jiu-jitsu guys. And I want to see that matchup. I want to see who's the better grappler. Who's the better ground fighter between Su Yu and Chang Ho Lee? So hopefully, Su Yu wins this matchup and we get closer towards Chang Ho Lee versus Su Yu. Next matchup, we've got Yizha taking on Westin Wilson. And it would be absolutely diabolical if Westin Wilson won this fight. And that's mainly because Westin Wilson is absolutely horrible. And that's what makes it diabolical. So I'm going to pick Yizha to win this matchup. I'm not going to pick Westin Wilson because if I was to pick Westin Wilson, I'd go to the comment section and people would be like, hey, yo, you're picking Westin Wilson. That's absolutely diabolical. Next matchup, we've got Michel Pereira taking on Kyle Daukaus. And let's start by saying this. Michel Pereira claims to be 31 years old. Take a look at the photo on screen right now. Does that look like a 31-year-old man to you? If that's a 31-year-old man, that is absolutely diabolical. What's the diabolical counter at right now? What's it at? I don't even know. But yeah, man, Michel Pereira, he's extremely dangerous. He's super explosive. But I do think his age is starting to show a bit. And I'm not making a joke there. I'm not saying a Michel Pereira age joke. I'm being serious. Look at his last performance. He got so tired against Abus Magomedov. But that being said, he's fighting Kyle Daukaus. And Kyle Daukaus isn't exactly the next middleweight champion. You know what I'm saying? Now, Kyle Daukaus has won 4 fights in a row since being cut by the UFC. But how much are those 4 fights really going to mean against someone like Michel Pereira? So I'm going to pick Michel Pereira via KO TKO in round 1 or round 2 if we go past round 2, then I kind of expect Michel Pereira, he's going to be tired at that point. And it's just a case of surviving to the judges' scorecards. So I'm going to pick Michel Pereira to absolutely dust Kyle Daukaus. Next matchup, we've got Rongzhu taking on Austin Thud Hubbard. And guys, here's what's fun about this fight. Both of these guys have the same striking defense as a blind man. Both of them were taught striking defense by Darren Elkins. And that's going to be the fun part with this fight. It's not fun for the fighters, but for the fans sat at home watching this matchup, it's going to be fun. So thanks to Rongzhu and Austin Hubbard for training their striking defense at the Darren Elkins school of blocking punches with your face. You know, the striking defense, man, it's not good. Having said all of that, Austin Hubbard, man, he will stand and trade in the pocket with anyone, and so will Rongzhu. So there's real potential for a violent KO in this fight. But at the same time, you're kind of considering how tough, how durable both of these guys are. So it could easily turn into a 15-minute war, a potential fight of the night between Austin Hubbard and Rongzhu. Now, for me personally, I'm not going to bet this fight because both of these guys are likely to receive a lot of damage. So it's going to be a no bet for me. But if I had to bet this fight, if I was forced to bet this fight, I would have to go with the plus 200 Austin Thud Hubbard. Next matchup, we've got Lonny Kavanagh taking on Charles Johnson. This one's going to be a banger, man. There's no doubt in my mind this is going to be a great flyweight matchup between Charles Johnson and Lonny Kavanagh. Now, Lonny Kavanagh is so far undefeated. He's a rising English prospect, 2-0 inside the UFC. And in his UFC debut, he completely outclassed Jose Ochoa. He made Ochoa look like an amateur. And we've seen what Ochoa's been doing recently. He's been looking good. Then he fought against a wild Brazilian, Felipe dos Santos, who's no longer with the UFC. But even Felipe dos Santos, he done well against Manel Kopp. You know, he done well in that fight. So to see Lonny Kavanagh win a fight like that, where it's less technical, it's more of a dogfight, he's already proved that not only can he dominate with his style, he can also dig deep and leave some blood in the canvas when it's needed. So Lonny Kavanagh's looking good, man. His boxing's sharp, his footwork's good, his speed. Look at the speed of Lonny Kavanagh. It's good to go. And he's so far undefeated. However, Charles Johnson, he's no walk in the park. He's experienced. He's a quality striker in his own right. He can wrestle and he's comfortable anywhere the fight goes. And let's not forget, Charles Johnson has a fantastic win over Josh Van, another rising star who got humbled by CJ. So the real question is this: is the step up in competition too soon for Lonny Kavanagh, or will he use Charles Johnson as a nice stepping stone to advance in the 125 division? And honestly, guys, I wouldn't be shocked if CJ won this fight. I really wouldn't. But just like last week, I picked the Englishman Lerone Murphy, and I've got to do the same thing here. I've got to pick Lonny Kavanagh. Maybe I'm biased, maybe I am, but I like Lerone Murphy, and I also like Lonny Kavanagh, and I do believe in Lerone's skill set. I also believe in Lonny's skill set. Even Ilia Topuria on the Joe Rogan podcast said, Lonny Kavanagh at 125, he's going to be a problem. He's extremely skillful. That's what Ilia Topuria said. And that just confirms even more what I already believe. I'm Team Kavanagh all the way. There may be some losses on the way to the title, but I'm Team Kavanagh all the way. Next matchup, we've got the Chinese Machete taking on Zhang. Who wins this matchup? It's a tough prediction to make, it really is. I kind of feel that the Chinese Machete, he's an underachiever in the UFC at the moment. I kind of expected sharper performances, more progression in the skill set. And he's fighting Zhang, who lost on the Contender, then lost to Evan Elder on short notice. I think Gage is pretty lucky to be getting another shot at fighting in the UFC. If you want to stick around, you need to win this fight. You need a win. And I do think Zhang, man, he is a good boxer. He's got solid boxing pressure. We saw moments of that on the Contender, and we also saw moments against Evan Elder, where he stayed in the opponent's face and just let his hands go. But he does need more of that. More urgency, more consistent aggression from Zhang. To me, it's going to be a matchup where it's boxing versus kicking. If you're Machete, you need to kick. But he doesn't do well against opponents that press forward and force him into a boxing contest. If you're Zhang, you need to bring real pressure, real aggression to this contest. And he can win the fight. It just comes down to being more urgent, being more aggressive, being more consistent inside the octagon. I'm going to side with the slight favourite over the slight underdog. I kind of feel that if you're Zhang, if you just show up and bring more aggression, then you can win this fight. Next matchup, we got Kevin Borjas taking on Sumudaerji. And I always call him Sumudaerji because a few years ago he had double knee surgery, which is a massive red flag. Now, one knee surgery, that's bad enough. But if both your knees go to Snap City, that's a double red flag, man. But that being said, Sumudaerji is still good. I don't think he's at his absolute best. He's probably past his prime, but I think he's still good. He's still decent. And he finally got back to winning ways earlier this year against Mitroposo. That was his first win since 2021. And this time around he's being matched up against a striker instead of a wrestler. And to be honest, man, Kevin Borjas, he's pretty slick. He's got some nice low kicks. And he's got fast hands. Look at what he done against Ronaldo Rodriguez. He made that dude look like a Mexican punch bag. It was good stuff, man. The sharpness of Kevin Borjas in that last performance, it was impressive. But now Kevin Borjas, he gets a step up in competition. He's fighting against Sumudaerji, who has high-level striking IQ. And Sumudaerji understands the striking game like it's a chess match. He understands the striking realm. So what's going to happen in this fight? I kind of feel that both of them are going to have striking moments. They're both going to land. They're both going to look good. There could be very close rounds to score in this fight, but I lean more towards Sumudaerji. I think it's going to be a very, very close fight, a very close stand-up war, but actually not a war, more like a chess match. But I do lean towards Sumudaerji with a 29-28 or a split. So we've got the Russian knockout machine against a dude that likes to hit the salsa. But Waldo's good, man. I mean, he's not just known for the salsa. He's known for his footwork, and you kind of need that footwork to even hit the salsa. You feel me? And Waldo Cortes-Acosta does have excellent footwork. He's so light. He's so agile for a heavyweight. And that's kind of what gives the opponent problems against someone like Waldo Cortes-Acosta. Now, I'll say this, guys. Waldo better showcase that lightness. Because if Waldo doesn't show that, we know what happens against someone like Pavlovich. We know what happens when that Russian knockout machine lands clean. You go night-night. You go to a galaxy far, far away. That being said, though, Pavlovich, he did get humbled by Alexander Volkov. And Alexander Volkov just used basic weapons. He used a jab. He used a teep kick. And that was enough to control the Russian beast. Now, Cortes-Acosta doesn't really have the same technical skill and the same experience as Alexander Volkov. So Cortes-Acosta has to rely on his skill set. He's got to rely on his footwork more than anything in this fight. And the problem is, I just think at some point, Sergei Pavlovich is going to find that KO button. It could just be a case of Waldo winning the whole fight right up until Pavlovich finds that off switch. And I kind of think that is going to happen. So I'm going to side with Sergei Pavlovich, the Russian knockout machine. We've got Brian Ortega taking on Aljamain Sterling. We've got a 5-round co-main event here. And I'll be honest, guys, I think it's Brian Ortega or pass at those odds. Now, both of these guys like to fight on the ground. You've got Aljamain Sterling, who's primarily a wrestler. You've got Brian Ortega, who's primarily a grappler. So Aljamain Sterling has the better wrestling, the better takedowns. But Brian Ortega has the more dangerous submission game. Now, some people might say Aljamain Sterling, he can stay safe on the ground. He can out-grapple Brian Ortega. But I don't know, man. I'm not too sure about that. Now, if this matchup plays out on the feet, that's going to be hard to call too, because Aljamain Sterling has an awkward striking style. He throws a lot of kicks to try to maintain that kicking range. Now, Ortega, on the flip side, has awful striking defense. He's taken so much damage throughout his career, but he's also insanely tough and he can hang in fights that aren't going his way. Now, if Aljamain Sterling was to get tired halfway through this fight, he's uncomfortable on the feet at some point in this fight and he shoots a lazy takedown. You already know. You already know, man. Brian Ortega's going to wrap him up like a blunt real quick for a submission win. So guys, Aljamain Sterling can take down Brian Ortega, but can he stay safe in the guard of Ortega? Does he really want to play that jiu-jitsu game with someone as good as Brian Ortega? Now, Aljamain Sterling, he can grapple. he can wrestle, but do you want to do that against Brian Ortega? Now, guys, what I personally think is Aljamain Sterling, he keeps the fight on the feet. He's not even going to take down Brian Ortega. Maybe once, maybe twice, but I think for the most part, Aljamain Sterling, he's going to stay on the feet. Now, personally, guys, I'm not going to bet the co-main event, but if I was forced to bet the co-main event, if you said to me, look, you've got to drop 1,000 on this co-main event, you've got to drop 500, you've got to drop a bet on this co-main event, I would go with Brian Ortega. At those odds, I would have to go underdog or pass completely. Main event, we've got Johnny Walker taking on the Chinese Francis Ngannou, Mingyang, Zhang. And here's the thing, man. This fight shouldn't go the distance. But then again, there is a lot of fights in the UFC that shouldn't go the distance, and they somehow do. So would I be shocked if this matchup, if this main event went to the scorecards? I really wouldn't. But do I expect it to go the distance? Absolutely not. Now, Johnny Walker, as we know, has a glass jaw. And Mingyang Zhang, as we know, has insane knockout power. So if Johnny Walker gets caught clean in this fight, he's getting dusted. He's getting sent to another galaxy. So guys, really, if you're Johnny Walker, the game plan's pretty simple. Move a lot. Stay long. Don't get into the phone booth with Mingyang Zhang. Just run away, bro. Just keep running away from Mingyang Zhang. The problem is, though, at some point, Johnny's going to engage with Mingyang Zhang. And when he does, the chin's getting tested. And once again, the chin test is going to fail. So my prediction is going to be Mingyang Zhang with a round 3 KO TKO. If Johnny Walker wants to get knocked out in round 1, then engage in the fight. Engage in the fight nice and early in round 1. When the fight ends, really depends on Johnny Walker. How long does Johnny Walker want to run away for? Soon as Johnny Walker engages and allows for Zhang to test his glass chin, that's the moment the fight stops. That's the moment the fight ends. It could be round 1. It could be round 2. It could be round 3. He could run away for the whole 25 minutes, like he did in the smaller octagon against Thiago Santos. But my guess is going to be round 3. I'm going to say round 3, Johnny Walker, he stops running, he starts fighting, and the moment he starts to fight, it's game over. As always, my homies, drop down your main event prediction, drop down your co-main event, your favourite underdog selections, drop all that stuff in the comment section below. Keep your eyes to the sky, never glued to your shoes. And shout out to all the Americans who are waking up or staying up for UFC China. Let's go. Peace.